Hi, I'm Denise, and welcome back to Inside the Mind Meditations. We're on podcast 13, part 12 of the fundamentals of physical and mental relaxation, and I'm so pleased you're taking this time for yourself. Before we begin, I'd like to request that if you haven't done the previous meditation, number 12, part 11, to experience your chi, please go back and do that meditation now so that you have a bit more of an understanding as we progress. And to begin this meditation, I will say, only in leaving the world are we able to return to it. And how do we leave? Through meditation and focus on breath. And when we return, we carry that practice with us. However, only with correct breathing is it possible to choose where we travel, as without focus on the breath, we essentially leave the body. Like the wind, the breath blows and carries us with it. And when we are light enough, the breath lifts us from the earth or the situation at hand and allows us to command ourselves through observation. As we become more accepting of our surroundings and those things we have no control over, like the sounds that interrupt our thoughts and our peace, we learn to command ourselves through the breath and self-observation. And as we gain this command, those things don't irritate us as much at all anymore in some cases. Instead, more and more, they are just as they are and nothing more than that. The more we allow things to be as they are, the less resistance we have, and the more we are able to solve problems rather than become a part of them. And that's probably not happening on your 12th meditation as anticipated. Why? Because it takes 40 days to break a habit, 90 days to create a new one, and 1,000 days of practice for that new practice to become who we are. And I'm not talking about calendar days, I'm talking about days of practice. So the things we encounter most frequently are the things which we will change the fastest. As long as we practice one thing, we will begin to practice all other things. And as we learn to observe our thoughts, we know they will pass. Like the dog who eventually quits barking because the bird is gone now. Our minds will eventually stop yakking if we observe it. Why? Why does the mind do that? Hang on to things, repeating them over and over like a barking dog? Well, essentially, the mind, like you, wants to be acknowledged and validated when it speaks. So allow the mind to speak, observe and acknowledge it. Don't judge it. Rather, simply note if the thought is pleasant, not pleasant, or neutral. And then look at the breath and see how those thoughts affect the breath and also the body. And in doing this, we will soon find moments of silence within and without. Even if there is no silence, we still find stillness, or perhaps observe that there is no silence. And since we are not resisting any longer, we eventually find peace both inside our minds and in our worlds. It is within this peace that we find the space to choose our response rather than simply reacting to the situation at hand. As habits are hard to break, initially we most likely continue to react first, as that's habit. But as we meditate, eventually we notice when we have reacted in our habitual ways rather than responding by choice. And once we do that, we are more able to correct our mistakes. And it's always important to correct a mistake. For instance, if you put in a new faucet and it leaked, you wouldn't just leave it. You would have to come home and repair it, or do it properly so that you wouldn't have water spraying everywhere that it wasn't supposed to be spraying. So no excuses, make a mistake, claim it, and correct it. And at first we find we spend a lot of time correcting at a much later time. Later, though, we start getting closer and closer to the event and correcting it then until we eventually command the event because we command ourselves. Correction is important. Without it, we keep making the same mistakes or living with the same mistakes that we always have. So always good to correct. And by correcting, we begin to make new habits. And don't worry if the transition is not overnight. Change takes time. 40 days to break a habit, 90 days to make a new one, and 1,000 days of practice for that new habit to become who we are. Remember, not calendar days, but days of practice with that one thing. Similarly, if you joined a martial arts class and you paid for your membership for 5 years, but you went to the first 3 classes and never again, you wouldn't be a black belt. The same thing with meditation. It's not how long you do it, it's how often you do it. So it's all progress. However, owning and claiming mistakes, we can do that every day, and that helps with everything. And as we do this, we grow closer to peace. And thus our inside and outside worlds change, and things start to flow with us instead of against us. No longer are we fighting the tide, but flowing with it. Unconscious behavior brought us to who we wish to change, but only by conscious behavior can we change that. And when we realize we don't attract what we want, but we attract what we are more open to becoming something else rather than just what we have been and receiving what we are and remaining in resistance to that. So, thus, I am very glad you have chosen this journey. Now, before we begin this meditation, I just like to discuss that recently we gained a bit more of an awareness about what activating the chi is in the last meditation. And just so you know, the purpose of activating our chi before moving into prayer pose, as we set our intention through great feeling from our hearts, is very important to sending that intention out in prayer or request, as some may like to call it. Equally important to the activation and the intent through great feeling is the approximate 5 pounds of pressure of our palms pressed together to hold the chi and transmit it out from the heart center through great feeling with another 5 pounds of pressure against the breastbone, where our intent is picked up through that pressure and then moved from our hearts through our hands and through our fingers, which are positioned away from the body at a 60-degree angle to send out that great feeling of intent like a satellite signal. Now, I know this sounds weird, but having felt your chi in last meditation, you might start to pick up on that now. And if you didn't feel your chi in the last meditation, try that a bit over time until you actually do feel it. But whether you can feel it or not, it is still happening. And when you can finally feel it, it's because you're becoming more aware and more open, and you're actually working with your energy instead of being consumed by it. So there is a reason Jesus and many great other teachers set their intention or gave their prayers in this way. And as you have begun to notice, feeling is energy. And we can use this energy unwittingly to destroy ourselves and others, or we can use it to enhance ourselves and communicate with the higher power. And we really want to keep in mind that what we give to others, we give to ourselves. So it might be noted that of intent or prayer. When we pray or set an intent silently without speaking but through thought in our mind, we speak directly to the higher power, whom some call God, or to the universe, as some may prefer to refer to the source of creative energy, or whatever you want to call it, whatever you're comfortable with. That's what you're communicating with. And when we whisper our intent or prayer, we are actually saying that to ourselves or the divine energy within. And when we speak our intention or prayer out loud, we say it to the world, where we are part of that collective consciousness. Your choice of how and where you want your intention or prayer sent is entirely up to you. Regardless, send it with great feeling from the heart. And remember, what you give to yourself, you give to others, and what you give to others, you give to yourself. There's no escaping that. But now you have a bit more direction on how to send your intent or prayer. And just as well, having some experience with circular breathing as we have been practicing. This time we are going to make a change in breathing, and not only are we going to make a slight change, but we're going to add something to it. So we will initially begin in the usual way, and then a bit later, instead of breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, after we have found our full capacity for breaths through circular breathing, and having trained how the breath is taken and released, we will move from the circular at 100% to 70% capacity, and then to internal breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, following the same circular pattern at first, but only at 70% breath capacity rather than full, and then to internal breathing, which I will guide you through as we do it. And doing this not only allows for growth of breath over the time without stress, but healing also through relaxation. Because 70% doesn't stress, it just causes one to make gains. Each type of breathing does something different, just as each breath responds to what we are feeling. When we command the breath, we command ourselves. So we will begin the meditation as we are accustomed to, and then move to internal breathing, which I will explain as we do it. And let's begin in the usual way until stated differently. Now, while lying on your back, let's activate our chi by rubbing the palms of our hands together at the same time that we rub the soles of our feet together. And having done that, please sit with your spine straight and prepare to set your attention or offer prayer. And with about 5 pounds of pressure, press the palms of your hands together in prayer pose, and with another approximate 5 pounds of pressure, press the sides of your thumbs into your breastbone and angle your fingers away from the body at a 60-degree angle. And now activate the thyroid by closing the eyes 9/10 of the way and staring at the tip of your nose while crossing your eyes. And set your intention through great feeling from your heart, starting with, I ask this for myself and for whoever, and also for the entire universe. And then feel your intention deeply within your heart. Let's begin. Now please lie flat on your back with your spine straight, hands beside the hips with the palms up, and allow your eyes to rest comfortably as you settle in and make any last-minute adjustments for physical comfort. And once settled, allow your mind to wander. Allow it to review or rehearse the day's events without judgment. And notice any feelings you have in your body as you observe these thoughts, and note whether they are pleasant, not pleasant, or neutral. If they are pleasant or not pleasant, notice where you feel them in the body and how they feel within those points, and observe the energy they create without judgment. And also notice any areas of the body that are in complete comfort and not attached to emotion or feeling. And opening your eyes softly, return your focus to your surroundings. Look around the room so that you become entirely aware of your space. Notice the objects within and any sounds. And as you become aware of your surroundings, begin deep circular breathing, 100%, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, filling the entire stomach, and then expand the breath into the chest. And exhale through the mouth, allowing your navel to fall toward the floor as the breath leaves the body. And now that you have noted your full capacity with the first few circular breaths, please inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth at only 70% in the same circular pattern. And remaining at 70% capacity of breath, let's move into internal breathing now. It's a new pattern. So please close your eyes if they are not already, and place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth at the hard palate, located right behind the teeth, in a very relaxed manner, and relax all the muscles in your face. It is commonly suggested to sit during this practice, but it is also okay to lay with the spine straight in this exercise. And keeping the tip of the tongue on the hard palate, breathe in and out through the nose at 70% and become totally aware of the breath inside the nose and the nostrils, including the movement of the nose hairs as the air flows in and out of the nose. And as you become aware of the breath in the nose and the body, follow the sensation of the breath in stages. Follow the breath from your nose down to the center of your body and become progressively aware of it in stages. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Feel the breath through the nose now, and as it flows to the back of the throat. And now follow the breath from the tip of the nose to the back of the throat and into the lungs, keeping the breath at 70%. And following the same pattern from the nose to the throat to the lungs, follow the breath now into the solar plexus and then into the belly button. And following the flow of the breath from the tip of the nose through the throat to the lungs to the belly button. Follow the breath now into the region between the navel and the genitalia, where the second chakra, or reproductive, also known as creative chakra, is located. And continue breathing in and out with the tip of the tongue on the hard palate, the face relaxed, inhaling through the nose at 70% and allowing the body to exhale through the nose at 70%, following all the way down to your second chakra. And with the next breath, return to natural breath, also known as soft breath, meaning there is no gap in time between the inhale or exhale. Breathe in and out through the nose and gently close your eyes and settle into the space you are lying on, while noticing any sounds around you and accepting them for what they are. And as you do this, turn your attention to the body and without judgment, observe. Does the body feel heavy or light, tense or at ease? Feel the weight of the body as it sinks onto the surface you are lying on. Observe the points of contact for the head, the shoulders, back, hips, arms and hands, legs and feet. Feel them settle in comfortably, noticing the breath has returned to normal. And now turn the attention to the body, letting the points that want attention guide you. Notice areas of discomfort while also making note of areas of ease. Observe each for what it is, nothing more. Realize it and accept it. If the mind interrupts, note thinking or feeling. Pleasant, not pleasant, or neutral. If it continues to interrupt, note what kind of thought or feeling you are having with one word. And notice how those thoughts and feelings feel in the body and where they are attached to. Are the thoughts and feelings leaving the body feeling pleasant or not, or neutral? If something persists, move further and label it with one word and return to the overview of the body. And now let's do a full body scan, just making note now. Comfort or discomfort. Starting with the forehead and the back of the head. The brow line and eyes. ears and cheeks, mouth and jaw, noting areas of tension and ease, and allowing space to be made for balance. The throat and neck, shoulders, front and back. Scanning now from the upper arms to the elbows. Lower arms to wrists. Hands to fingertips, allowing all to relax. Scan the chest now and upper back. Upper abdomen and mid-back. Lower abdomen and lower back. Pelvic region and tailbone. Hips. Top of thighs to the knees, both front and back. And lower legs to the ankles. Feet, and finally the toes, allowing all to be as it is, peace and not at peace. Now feel the body as a whole. Simply become aware of it through feeling, without judgment, only observation. Observe the breath in its natural state. This is called soft breath, as there is no gap in time between the inhale and the exhale. Is the breath light and shallow, or deep and full? Is it rapid or slow? Note how the breath feels in the body. And if you are unable to recognize the breath through feeling, place one or both of your hands over your abdomen, or wherever you can feel the breath most, and feel the rise and fall of your breath through your hands. And notice how the breath changes. And as you become aware, your thoughts have drawn you away from your focus on your breath. Look at the way the thoughts feel in the body while maintaining focus on the breath. Observe positive, not positive, or neutral. If it persists, label it. After each observation, return to the breath. And now focus more deeply on the breath, either counting the breaths 1 through 10 and return again to 1, or sign a mantra to them. And now, please allow the mind its freedom to do as it will. And remember, as you move throughout the day, try to become aware of the breath in the body and how thoughts and emotions feel in the body. Identify them and label them with one word. Also observe your feelings and reactions of others in your body. Simply observe them as you do yourself. No judgment, only recognition. This generally takes a lot of time before we remember to do it the first time. But when you finally do, notice how much more stability and command it gives you in whatever situation you're dealing with. And don't worry if you forget, as long as you remember to set the intent and make a concerted effort to focus on the breath, eventually you'll remember. So if we set the intent every day within the first 5 minutes before we rise as we get into our bodies, it will eventually happen. especially if we start the morning by getting into our bodies first and becoming aware of the breath, and then reminding ourselves to do that throughout the day. And now you may choose to go to sleep or be on with your day. And if you wish to go to sleep, if you are able, please comfortably turn your head to the right and drift off to the sound of my voice after giving gratitude for the day and tomorrow and all week long. And if you wish to rise, please slightly turn your head to the left and become aware of your body, your fingers and toes, hands and feet, legs and arms, tummy and torso, shoulders, neck, face and head, and finally your body as a whole. And note, does the body feel heavy or light, relaxed or tensed? Now recognize the points of contact and become aware of the sounds around you. And open your eyes and become aware of your surroundings, the things you see and hear. And after giving gratitude for the day, while holding the feeling of joy in your heart, you may rise when you are ready. And I hope you had a great time at Inside the Mind Meditations. We certainly enjoyed having you. And please feel free to subscribe to our channel should you wish for notifications of future meditations. You'll want to click the little bell. And they're all free, as well your comments are always appreciated. Good day or night, and I hope to relax and meditate with you soon.